Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm recording this before I get into the real video because this is just a really delayed video. It's mostly about Alyssa Thompson and kind of about Lia Wälti, one joining the WSL, one leaving the WSL. But exciting opening weekend for WSL. Chelsea beat Man City, and then yesterday Arsenal beat London City Lionesses, big win there, and obviously the London City Lionesses debut in the league. So I don't know if we're going to do another video about the opening weekend. We might. This video just got so delayed. We just got super busy this week. But we still want to talk about Alyssa Thompson officially going to Chelsea and Lia Wälti leaving Arsenal. But exciting opening weekend. And then today, I don't even know. Right now that I'm talking, it's Sunday morning. So a couple WSL games are happening as I speak. And we'll see what happens there. But I just want to say a little bit delayed, but what do you guys think? I'll go on to the video, but that's kind of like, this video is a bit delayed. I guess that's the point of my intro here. Thanks so much. Well, WSL season starts today. Hopefully if we get this video out. But it starts Friday the 5th, and very excited. However, one player is going to be there, and one player is not going to be there. In my mind, that intro sounded a lot better.
Hey, I liked it.
The two in particular we are talking about are probably going to be in the title, but it's official. Alyssa Thompson is flying the nest. How do you say that? Flying the coop. Leaving the nest.
She's left us.
Left her hometown. Left her sister. She's left it all. But to go on to bigger and better things, or bigger and different things, shall we say. But it is official. Hometown hero Alyssa Thompson is leaving LA for London, and she's going to be a Blue. She's joining Chelsea, and we don't know how everyone feels about this. Chelsea fans excited, obviously. Angel City fans / NWSL fans, pretty sad, you know.
I don't know. Am I the only American that's kind of excited?
No, and that's one of the things that they said. They said a lot of people, although we're sad, we're so excited for her. What an opportunity, what a deal, so many things going on. I guess I'll have Sara read the headline.
Chelsea women complete signing of Alyssa Thompson from Angel City for £1.1 million fee. Chelsea have signed the USA winger Alyssa Thompson from Angel City for an upfront fee understood to be just shy of $1.5 million or 1.1 million euros, which sources say could climb close to a world record sum with potential add-ons on a dramatic transfer deadline day in the Women's Super League. Thompson is understood to have put pen to paper on a 5-year contract with just over an hour to spare before the window shut at 11 p.m. The 20-year-old completed a medical earlier on Thursday in London after boarding a flight from Los Angeles late on Wednesday night amid extensive negotiations between the two clubs.
So you didn't, Sara put her excitement when she read that because it's a 5-year deal. You didn't know about that.
Wait, so she's going to be in London. She's going to wear blue. She's going to be a Chelsea player for 5 years?
Possibly. They could sell her. They could in that 5 years. But yeah, 5 years if she completes the deal, 5 full years. And she'll still only be 25 at that point, which is still so young.
I take it back. That's too wild. Come back. That's scary.
Yeah. 5 years, obviously. And then it said right there, a transfer fee of $1.5 million for the transfer fee. Now, we don't know. It's not really transparent in soccer how much the individual player makes. Somebody said they heard it was $3 million for the 5 years. I don't know if that's true, or maybe they meant $12 million. I don't know. I'm pulling those numbers out of nowhere because I thought that's what I heard. I actually, since it's not that transparent, we don't know. However, it's going to be a lot of money. She's going to go 5 years. But that is the news. And a lot of people, a lot of conversation about this. Actually, I was watching Sam and Lynn's podcast, and they were kind of talking about this, saying, as players, what it means to kind of go to a new league, what it means to kind of make a change. And they said, why would Alyssa, I don't know how they framed it, but something about why would Alyssa want to go? The moral of the story, what I'm saying is that Lynn, I think, is the one who said, sometimes when you're given this opportunity, offered this opportunity to join a club like Chelsea, you never know if there's going to be another opportunity in your life for this. So why not take an opportunity like this if you want to go over there? Why you have to take it if you want it right now, in a sense. You know, you never know if it's going to come again.
Very true. Good point.
Yeah, and them as players obviously know this more than anyone, because that's another point. And then I saw some other commentary from like Kelley O'Hara, Megan Rapinoe, and they were just kind of saying, as much as they're excited for Alyssa Thompson, what about Angel City? Like, do they want to win? Are they just, what's going on? Because another conversation is 1.5 million, although it might be high, a lot of people are saying it should have been actually more than that, maybe closer to $2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. For how young she is, how good she is, what she can bring to the table. People are saying 1.5 million. That goes back to the point of Alyssa probably did want to leave. Maybe she doesn't like the direction with the team. Maybe not, but maybe she doesn't. Or maybe she just wants to get a payday, which obviously they all want to get a payday. So there's just so much discussion about this. Now, the other discussion is, why are all the why are all the U.S. women's national team and NWSL stars leaving to go overseas? And there's a lot of reasons. However, one major reason that Christen and Tobin actually just released on their podcast was talking about, one of the main reasons, obviously about money, specifically the salary cap. Because they were explaining it, and we're not going to explain it on our video here, because it was such an interesting and informative episode. They talked about the salary cap and talked about where money went in the NWSL. So everyone should go watch it. I think it was the one released on September 4th. But they basically said, with the salary cap, the NWSL salary cap for all players on one team is basically $3 million. So they can't pay more than $3 million. They can't pay... There's a lot they can't do. But a team like Chelsea they have what is called a fair play rule, which basically means if your club makes a lot of money in like revenue, you can spend that money. It's like, if you make the money, you can spend it. So some people call it a soft salary cap. I guess the official term is fair play. So they have so much more money and I guess resources. Yeah. But why wouldn't these young players or players in general want to go over to the WSL? It makes sense. Which is also kind of funny, because Christen and Tobin on this episode also talked about, when they played for the national team, the management or the federation, I guess, heavily implied, hey, don't leave America. Play in the domestic league here in the NWSL. You might be losing your chance to play for the women's national team if you go overseas. Kind of like, don't go because you might be off the team, kind of thing. And so a lot of players back then couldn't go or didn't want to take the chance. Now, that was when the league was unstable. The previous league had just folded. So it kind of made sense that the federation and the league wanted these players to stay. But now it's different. The league is steady. It's not going anywhere, but they still have this crazy salary cap. Also, one of the brand new coaches, this is what they talked about in their episode, one of the brand new coaches, they didn't say who, they made no mention of the name. They said this brand new coach makes 3 times as much as the top player in the NWSL.
I'm rolling my frickin' eyes at this. Are you kidding me?
Then again, they didn't say if it was a man or a woman, so it could be a woman. But the players should be making more, basically.
Yes, they're the one actually doing the work.
Yeah. A lot of it has to do with money. Obviously, we know that we talked about Trinity Rodman and Sam Coffey. The WSL wants them, apparently, which I could understand why. And you could see why these players want to go over there. Now, Christen and Tobin were talking about the salary cap for the players needs to go, or needs to be restructured. But the NWSL would say, well, we like the parity. We like these teams being competitive every year. We like these teams on an equal playing field. We like these teams having good matches. And then it also gives the reasons why these owners don't have to pay the players more as well. So the NWSL as an organization is going to say, well, it's good. We need to keep it for XYZ reason. But the episode of reinc, the recap show was so informative. I had no idea about a lot of things. So, Alyssa Thompson, of course, she wants to go get a payday. But yeah, so she is leaving. I guess we'll read a couple comments, but it's just crazy. But excited for Alyssa, just such a big moves, There was a picture of her at the airport. It talked about in that article about her at the airport, and somebody got a picture of her in the airport. Everyone's like, she looks so sad. She doesn't know what she's doing. People are in like a meltdown over this picture because they're like, she doesn't know. She doesn't want to go. I don't know.
Everybody's tired when they go to the freaking airport. And traveling is very stressful.
Yeah. So it was kind of funny to see that online. But what does everyone think about Alyssa Thompson going? Okay. So the next thing we talked about was that one player is going to be coming to the WSL, but one player is going to be leaving the WSL. And this wasn't a big surprise, but I will say there's a lot of Wally fans out there, and a lot of Arsenal fans are really sad to see her go. She's one of those players who just goes out there, does the work, and hardworking player. You know what I mean by that? And very likable.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But Lia Wälti Wally has officially left Arsenal, and she's actually joining Juventus, the Italian club. I'll have Sara read a little bit of this.
Women's Champions League winner Lia Wälti joins Juventus from Arsenal. Switzerland's inspirational captain Lia Wälti moved from Women's Champions League title holder Arsenal to Juventus on Thursday. A black and white era begins. Welcome, Juventus said, adding that the 32-year-old Wälti signed a 2-year contract. Wälti will stay in the Women's Champions League this season as Juventus reached the new 18-team league phase format by winning the Italian league title.
So that was just like a quick article about it. But after 7 years with Arsenal, Lia Wälti is leaving, going to Juventus, which is nice that she gets to play for Champions League at Juventus. And she also released a video on the Arsenal Instagram, very emotional. I mean, when she sat down, she had like a little hanky to wipe her eyes. She's and she was very emotional. She's been there for so long, and her very last game, and she talked about this on the video, was the Champions League winning game where they won Champions League after 7 years being there. You win on your very last game. I mean, nothing better than that.
That's pure magic.
Yeah. And it kind of goes into that conversation where she didn't play in the finals for the Champions League, and that's been kind of what has been going on this last year in particular. She hasn't been playing as much. A lot of people, this is kind of what's ironic, a lot of people saying bringing in Caldente, even though they play a different position, that the way Caldente is being used at Arsenal kind of kicked Lia out of the role she was playing in a bit. So it's kind of like bringing in possible partner, her partner, and then kind of not creating a role for you as impactful on the team. That is hard. However, I'm sure Lia wouldn't change it for anything because they ended up winning Champions League. She's been there a lot. She was there through so much, women's football not as respected as it is now. Now Arsenal, the women's game in particular, being so respected also, but it's really sad, but happy, she's still. And she had injuries. You remember that she was really injured for a while. So not that this is part of the video, but having to being so professional with the whole Katie and Caitlin thing, where you're playing with your ex-partner and her new girlfriend who's on the new team, or who's on the team. It was never drama with Lia. That happened. It has nothing to do with me playing a good game. I'm still gonna play. You know what I mean? So she's just been through a lot. And, fan favorite. So it'll be sad to see her go. I guess we'll read comments now. I don't know what order these are going to be in, but this was not the comment I thought was first, but this is first on where I saved it on my phone, but it says, the question is about Lia Wälti. What about her and Mariona? Does this mean that they're no longer dating? I saw that. And I don't think so. I think whether, they're not very open about the relationship, but I think if they're still dating, they're still dating. But I don't think she would leave the team if they weren't dating. I just think she wasn't getting playing time and she wanted to go to a team with a bigger role. So I don't think it impacts Mariona at all. But it is going to be weird for them. It is going to be kind of interesting. They were playing together for 1 year, one Champions League, and then Mariona is going to stay. Lia Wälti is going to leave. But maybe that means they can be a little more open with the relationship since they're not going to probably ever play on the same team again. Maybe. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe they'll start being more open. Now, I haven't heard any rumors that they have broken up, but they're pretty low key. So if they did, I had not heard that, but I haven't heard that. Actually, Mariona commented on Lia Wälti's sister's Instagram not that long ago, so they probably haven't broken up.
Well, that's proof.
Yeah. Okay. Then it says, okay, someone goes about Lia Wälti leaving. I'm heartbroken, crying, but also happy for you. Hopefully one day you will be back. You will be back home at the Emirates. I love you, Wally. Wishing you luck. Now, that was sweet. Now, apparently they're going to have a send-off for her at Saturday's game, I think Arsenal said. But very sweet. And then someone said, once a gunner, always a gunner.
Quality player, classy person, very best wishes for the future. Once a gunner, always a gunner. And someone else says, I'm a Juventus supporter and Arsenal lover. She's wonderful, and seeing her with the Juventus jersey's a dream come true.
Yeah, she has so many fans. She's been with Arsenal for so long. But yeah, she played since July 2018, making a total of 183 appearances during her time with Arsenal. And then Leah Williamson actually had a post in honor of Wally, just saying...
Okay. The adventures of LW squared. You know how much you mean to me, and I think the rest of the world does too. Snake Ship's a sensational footballer. North London won't forget. Memories to last a lifetime, and a lifetime to make more.
Yeah. I mean, they're best friends, and I think it's funny. She goes, the fans know how much I love you too. So very sweet. So as everyone said about Wally, but Juventus, great team, hot team. I think a lot of people will be rooting for them in Champions League. She was an excused absence. Okay, going back to Alyssa Thompson, she was an excused absence for her game on Monday, was it? I think it was on Labor Day this year. So a lot of people said this is going to happen. You don't have an excused absence with all this talk and not happening. And then someone goes, she is out on excused absence for their game tonight. Hope Chelsea pays her. Yeah, so people knew that the writing was on the wall. And then someone goes, big loss for the NWSL, but money talks. And then someone goes, here, so we let her leave for less than $1 million, which the final numbers were 1.5 million. How are we so bad at everything? So even though it was more than that, people thought maybe upwards of 2 million it should have been. Then someone goes, happy for her, sad for me in the ACFC. Someone goes, as an ACFC fan, this is tough. Happy for her, though, because that's what a lot of people said. Although they're sad, they're really happy for her in this opportunity.
This comment says, NWSL rapidly becoming a feeder league in the football food chain. Not a good look for the future of women's game here. They had a chance to rule the world. Europe woke up, and now it is too late.
And I think that just has to go down to what Christen and Tobin were talking about in the salary cap. Until that is modified, changed, eliminated, something, they can't pay the players. Why not raise the but the NWSL wants a competitive league, and also the owners are going to say, hey, salary cap's good for the league and also good for their pockets, because that means they don't have to pay them, or we can't pay you. It's not we don't want it, we can't pay you. That's what Christen was kind of saying, like wink wink, we can't pay you. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and someone commented this underneath Christen and Tobin's episode for talking about the salary cap.
If you remove the salary cap, then it is not as competitive all the way down, because you would suddenly create a hierarchy of have and have-nots.
I don't know. Is there an answer? Should the salary cap be changed and raised or something? Because if you're losing all your players to England, your top players, that's not good. Then again, you see a team like Kansas City, when there isn't one star, the whole team's a star. Kansas City's a star. Yes, you have Lowe, you have Shawinga, you have so many people, but I feel like the whole Kansas City team is the star. You get what I'm saying? There's no real one person. So maybe the teams need to be marketed as differently. I don't know.
They definitely have the goal celebrations down.
Yeah.
The goal cellies.
Yeah, it's like a party. And then again, they are in first place. They do really well, so it's a party, but... Okay, so what does everyone think? Yeah, that episode of the recap show with Christen and Tobin, that was so informative. I learned so much about the way, and Christen really got worked up in a good way, trying to fight for these players and get money for and so did Tobin. Tobin made the argument with the way the salary cap is structured, you can have enough to pay one big star on your team, and then the other 20 players are going to be like kids, the 15-year-old kids out there learning from the one star, and that puts more pressure on the star. You know what I mean? It's just not a healthy environment for anyone in that situation. Now, but sad to see Alyssa Thompson go, and also happy/sad for Wally. She was such a star. So many Arsenal fans just love and respect her so much, and so happy for her. But you go into a quality team, so Excited to see that. Also excited for the WSL season to start. Chelsea, Man City. I don't know if that's the only game happening tomorrow. We'll find out. Questions, comments down below. We'll talk to you all later. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.